In this lesson, we'll learn how to make a display object draggable on touch. Touch dragging is a common way of having users interact with objects on the screen. Fortunately, the touch event in Corona makes it relatively simple to move an object with a touch, thereby giving the appearance of the object being dragged. We'll be working with the button object that we created earlier in this chapter. Within the button object, we'll move to the touch event handler. To drag an object, we essentially move it according to the current touch position on the screen. We can't simply set the object's position to the touch position because it gets to be a little jittery. If we set the position of the object to the position of the touch, we'll get slight jitter in how the object moves. So we'll write some code that takes into account where the user has started the touch and then move the object relative to that touch. Within the began phase, we'll type the following. Here, we're storing the current X and Y position at the start of the touch into custom properties called oldX and oldY on the button object. Now, within the hasFocus conditional branch, we'll create a moved phase. And we'll change the ended or canceled phase so that it is an else if. Within the moved phase, we'll set the X and Y position of the button object. We'll set the position of the object equal to the difference between the current touch and the touch at the began phase, plus the position of the object at the start of the began phase. So we'll type the following. We'll need to get the difference between the touch at the start of the touch phase in the began and the current touch. This is accomplished by taking e.x, which is the current touch position on the x-axis, minus e.xStart. This denotes the position of the touch in the began phase. Don't confuse e.xStart with self.x in the began phase. Self.x refers to the position of the object. e.xStart refers to the position of the touch in the began phase. We'll take this difference and add to it the position of the object in the began phase. Now we'll repeat this for the y-axis. Remember that oldX and oldY have capital letters at the end of the property names. Let's take a look at the result in the simulator. I can tap the button, and I can tap and drag the button and it moves around. Notice that the on and off state are still represented. This ends our lesson on how to make an object draggable.